afternoon and welcome. It's been quite some time since I've been live on the Facebook page, but this is also streaming to the Heal with Gwenda YouTube, and welcome to the viewer who is here. Today I wanted to talk to you about life, death and the afterlife and everything in between. Every day somebody leaves this world. And every day, somebody that has almost transitioned comes back. Seems a bit weird, doesn't it? But it's a fact. And every day, a new life arrives into this world. This realm holds so much amazement. This realm offers so many incredible opportunities for us to know who we truly are. And in among that, there are all these trials and tribulations that come with it. So if we start at the other end of the scale, there's what we call death. The misconception of death is that we are no longer. And there are thousands and thousands of people who can attest that that simply is not true. Yes, we are not in this physical world any longer, but we are not dead. We are far from it. And on the 6th of September, I am super excited to be having a chat with a lady by the name of Penny Wilmot, who will be sharing with us her near-death experience. And what I love about Penny's story is she confirms everything that I share about what happens when you go through the realms, or when you cross over, or you transition, whatever word it is that you want to know. So for those of you who are new here or who haven't been with me for a while, I'm Gwenda Smith. I'm a spiritual alchemist, healer, mystic, spiritual teacher, mentor. I arrived into this world with all of my, shall we call them gifts? And that's another topic that I can really go with. Or thank you for the love. Share it back to you. You can comment. I should be able to see your comments here. So feel free to comment on either platform you're watching on, be it the YouTube channel or Facebook. So I have dedicated my life to understanding my working adult life, right? To understanding the hereafter, to understanding this life and what it's all about, to wellness, to well-being, and being a guide for those that want to explore the same thing. So, death. Yesterday, we said farewell to a beautiful member of our family, a very special auntie. She passed from this world 5 days before what would be called her 87th birthday. But I watched her. I watched her attend her farewell. I saw her with my grandmother, her mother, and then I saw my father, her brother, arrive. And they were her escorts, as I call them. Sandy, hi and welcome. Lovely. Thanks for having, good to have you here. Thanks for having me. So it was beautiful to see her there with her brother, my dad, and her mum, my gran. And of course, there is the insurmountable grief that everybody feels. Hi, Beck. Hello. Welcome. There's the insurmountable grief that we feel at the loss of a loved one. But one thing I want to ask you to think about, when it comes a time where you hear of someone transitioning leaving, passing over, whatever term, please don't refer to them as dead, because they're not. And when I have Penny on the 6th of September, so that's only next week, she's coming in from the USA to share with us her near-death experience, and it is phenomenal. That will be on the Soul and Beyond show. So Soul and Beyond is on normally on a Monday evening, unless it's a public holiday, but we'll actually be on Wednesday. So the 6th of September, a special viewing or a special event of Soul and Beyond with Penny. And her explanation, her experience of what took place when she had her near-death experience will definitely shift your parameters, your perceptions of death, what we call death. Before that, oh, hello, Jane, and welcome to you too. Before death, we have what we call our lived experience. We have our life and what goes in all of that. And in all of that, there are the trials, tribulations, experiences, heartbreak, maybe illness, maybe accidents, no such thing as an accident, but accident, and possibly disease. And where do we go with that? Who do we project ourselves as a result of how we experience those things that come our way? So many people in the last couple of years have been diagnosed with sudden onset of very serious diseases, as they're called. Where do we go with that? What comes about as a result of those things that have come into the physical body? Everything that we experience in this life, we are what is called a co-creator, and I know a lot of people are going to have a pink fit about that. A co-creator, there is something along our way that we have done that has contributed to creating that reality. Now, if you are new to that sort of thing, or you haven't done any inner work or even spiritual work, that's going to be a really hard concept to get your head around. But I'm going to ask you to hang in with me, because we're going to talk about birth and the actual birthing process. What happens in the birthing process? Or should we call it the birthing experience? And also things that go on after that. Now, what brought me to think about this and to speak more about it is, of course, my determination to bring greater awareness to our true self, being the essence, the God spark, the divine, the divinity within you, whatever word you want to use for it. If you are a human being, you have got this incredible God spark within you, or creator's spark. Now, that can never, ever, ever be extinguished. And you can actually go to that place of yourself anytime. And that is where you will find the hurdles, the obstacles that you're experiencing in life. That is where you can find the solutions, the way through it, and you can heal anything that has become troublesome to you. I am being deliberately cautious with words because of the misinterpretation of them. So the other things that I wanted to talk to you about is talismans, oracle cards, affirmations, mantras, and everything that goes along with using those. Talismans have been around, are recorded to have been around since the days of early Egypt. Talismans were used by the Roman soldiers They are recorded in history everywhere. And a talisman is something that is used for either good luck, for love, and predominantly for protection. A talisman can be anything at all, but most often you'll find that a spiritual person or a Wiccan, a priest, will give you a specific thing that is a talisman. So a cross, for example, is a talisman. A pentagram is a talisman. So there are many forms of talisman. You can even use a crystal as a talisman. As I said, they are for protection, they are for winning love, but predominantly for protection. Oracle cards. Now, I myself am in the process of creating prayer cards. They're not oracle cards, they're prayer cards. But oracle cards have been around for, goodness me, decades and decades and decades. And you have angel oracle cards, you have starseed oracle cards. You know that there are loads and loads of them, right? Then there are affirmations. Oh, Karen McAllister, hello. Then there are affirmations. So we have people like Louise Hay, we have Dr. Wayne Dyer, Deepak Chopra even gets into affirmations. There are all these people over the period of time that have brought affirmations to us as a means of changing your life, as a means of helping you through a difficult situation, as a means of bringing abundance. So we have the secret. There are loads of affirmation cards and books and things that you can get on affirmations. Louise Hay taught people that you can heal your life through affirmations. Wayne Dyer goes a little deeper, but the same kind of theory. Then there are mantras. Now, the real mantras, and there is a reason I say that, hail from the yogis of India, the traditional yogis of India, and they are extremely powerful when you know what they mean and you know how to use them and how to sing them. So these things we would look at as tools for your spiritual growth, tools for you to bring change to your life, right? Not necessarily so. I was listening to a podcast by Rebecca Campbell, who had a guest named Rachel Platten on. Rachel Platten is a singer-songwriter, and Rebecca Campbell has spent a lot of time creating oracle cards and books. And these girls were having a talk about using these kind of tools that I've mentioned. And it was very interesting listening to their take on it, because from afar I watch quite a few people that step into the spiritual arena and how they bring forward their want to help other people have a greater life, a more fulfilled life. And I also watch people that use tarot cards, oracle cards regularly, and they go to those cards to help them. And the thing that got my attention was Rachel Platten spoke about having given birth to her first child and had a really bad postpartum depression. Now, I myself have been down that path, know what it's like. I've also looked after other women that have had postnatal depression. It is a serious condition, and it's something that needs more education and it needs more attention from the medical fraternity, and I don't mean through medication. So Rachel was talking about the fact that she had always used cards, and of course Rebecca speaks highly of them all the time because she creates them, and there's a big dependency on oracle cards, tarot cards for this guidance, for this, getting direction in your life. The thing is that if you have something like postnatal depression of any kind, a serious health issue, then affirmations, oracle cards, talismans, mantras are not going to help you. And I have always said this. And what Rachel Platten mentioned was she found they didn't help with her postnatal depression. Now, postnatal depression is a chemical imbalance in the woman's body after birth. And most often what is not addressed is that birth is extremely traumatic, for want of a better word, and it puts a lot of women into shock. When that shock is not resolved because there is a huge imbalance in the systems in the body, then we have what is called a mental imbalance. And when that is left untreated or unhealed, it can actually create a tremendous amount of wounds that remain open like a big gash after a fall, and they never heal. So using the likes of oracle cards, affirmations, talismans, mantras is not going to heal that. And you know why? Because there is no you involved in it. You are not coming from a place where you are aligning with your divinity, aligning with the wisdom of your soul. You instead are looking externally to words on a card, words on a page, or reading what the meaning of that card is. And yes, quite often you will get a card that you're like, oh yes, that's spot on. That's really helping me. And then what? And then what after that? Nothing. Because it's an external reach. Everything for you that can bring you any kind of healing comes from within and in an alignment with the divine. If there is not that there, then nothing external is going to actually bring about the transformation, the incredible transcendence, and the ascension of you. And that's a fact. There is no two ways about it. And both these ladies, Rebecca Campbell and Rachel Platten, both spoke about that. Now, they were both sharing their own experience with postnatal depression. And Rebecca Campbell also mentioned how she also had a prolapse and what that added to her post-birth situation. As a nurse in my day, mothers were taught straight after birth, hours as soon as they could be, they were taken to do pelvic floor exercises. And Rebecca made mention of what the physio is now bringing to her and how painful that is and that it's ongoing. Well, in my time as a nurse, that didn't happen because we took the mothers to the postnatal exercise room and they were taught right away how to bring their pelvic floor back into its rightful place and also help the fundus, being the womb, return to its natural size, and the splitting of the major muscle down the abdomen, bring that to be knitted again. If any of you have had babies and the nurses come along or the doctor and they put their fingers into your abdomen to see how that muscle is doing with knitting back together. Don't do these things anymore. Somebody had a brilliant idea. I think it's called money. Hi, Zita. Welcome. Lovely to have you here. We're talking life, death, afterlife, and everything in between for a little bit longer before my next client for healing comes in. So we didn't have these kind of things happen as happens now. And then when I went into being a Thank you, Zita. When I went into being a master personal trainer, I also went across to do more rehab training, and in that was postpartum and pregnancy training. And I loved training pregnant women, understanding how they, Kylie, hello. No, they don't. That's right. Training them on everything about being pregnant and holding their body so that when they gave birth to their baby, their body recovered much faster. And I actually had a message today from one of the ladies that I trained her when she was having twins, and all her family had a fit and said she had to stop going to the gym. She couldn't possibly keep going to the gym and lifting weights because she was pregnant with twins. She didn't listen, and she continued with me, and she had an amazing birth, two beautiful children, boy and a girl, and her body went back into where it was when she started. And she did not have any issues with postpartum problems of prolapses or any associated things, and including feeding. What Rebecca Campbell and Rachel Platten were talking about was how they found that affirmations and cards did not help through postnatal depression. And I want to say that that was refreshing for me to hear, because they all have their place. All these tools have their place. However, when you want to delve into understanding the power that you have, when you want to delve into finding the wisdom that all the different aspects of you holds, those things are not going to help. Bottom line, not going to help. They are something that you can work with as a tool when you really know how to work with them. Now, there's a word that I also want to touch on, and that is when we say we know something, we've now closed ourselves off for any opportunity for expansion. The mind, the brain is a very powerful thing. So when we tell it, we know that. And I've got to tell you, that is a very common statement I get from so many clients. Oh, yeah, I know that. Yeah, I've done that before. I know it. And what I'd like to say is, if that's the case, why do you still have the illness, the disease, the issues, the financial issues, the relationship issues, if you know that? You see, you don't know anything until you can live it, until you can embody it. But at the same time, when you understand how to live it and embody it, you don't use the word saying, I know that. Because as soon as we say, I know it, we actually hem ourselves in to a little box, and there's no room for expansion. Birth. Giving birth is an incredible experience. It is also one that creates tremendous trauma on the body. And when the body is in pain, it is reasonable to know, to assume that there will be pain in the etheric bodies, the astral bodies, because that pain, that experience is so big, it ricochets out into all the other bodies, energy bodies of you. So there's a lot of work to be done to overcome that kind of trauma. When we have our little bundle of joy in front of us, we're so thrilled with that. That's exactly right, Jane. When we have our little bundle of joy, we're so excited with that, and we forget for a little while about what's actually taken place on our body or within our body. And it is so important to be addressed. When we have any kind of pain that has been disassociated from us, then we leave ourselves with huge wounds. And those wounds will travel throughout our life and go with us into the afterlife, and can also come through in the next life. Because any wound that we have not attended to is something that needs to be attended for the ascension of the soul. So there was a particular workshop that I began many years ago, and a talk that I did called Think Yourself to Be Amazing. The amazing you, incredible you, who is so powerful, it would scare the pants off you. And there is no talisman. Oh, Leanne, hello. How are you? And thank you for the love. Mwah, back to you. There is no talisman, no oracle card, no angel card, no affirmation, no mantra that is as powerful as you. What those things are tools, but you have to know how to use them. And to use them in the right way, that is going to actually take you inward and bring out the wisdom, the guidance that you have within you, that also aligns you to a higher level of guidance so that you can receive that. Simply getting a message through a tarot card or a message through an oracle card, it's not going to change your life. Would you agree? If any of you have used them or had readings with them, you would know that. And even for myself doing readings for people, I know that the guidance that comes through for them, they don't follow it through. They expect it to be a magical touch of a wand and it fixes everything. Well, I'm here to tell you it's not the way life works. Remember, we started with the passing, what we call the death. Terrible word. Started with that, birth, and everything in between is the lived life. So if we want to harness a fulfilling life, a purposeful life, then we need to be able to align with the power we have within. And there is only one way to do that, and that is to explore yourself, explore who you are, warts and all. And most people are not comfortable to do that. I had a session with a beautiful long-time client today, and she's had many sessions and she was blown away, saying, my gosh, just amazing. You just amazed me. Yes, Leanne, wonderful. And I'm glad to hear you're very well. Leanne's saying we need to live to create, not avoid. And that's exactly right. We can actually create a void, not avoid like I'm avoiding that, but we can actually create a void. And we put all the things we don't want to look at in that void. But guess what? It doesn't go away. And it will haunt you and hamper your life constantly. So being able to receive your guidance means stepping away from external things. When you have a really busy mind and you listen to your mind and you trust your mind, oh my, what a little melting pot of trouble you're going to step into. So the other thing that I see is a lot of people going to those who can communicate between worlds or between galaxies and go out to intergalactic beings. That's all very wonderful, and I can do that too. That's all, really quite amazing. Could give you some spinny stories about intergalactic experiences and visitors. But how's that going to help your life or my life? I want to know everything about my power. What about you? I want to know everything that I am, because all that I am is all that there is. I want to know everything about why I came here, why I've come to this world. What is it that I wanted to experience? What is it that my soul wanted to journey with in this life? And to do that means you have to be prepared to sit with yourself and learn to be the master creator in your life, not the tag along, not the one who tags along to see, what's going on. and not the one who listens to the mind. So for Rebecca Campbell, Rachel Platten, Dr. Wayne Dyer, Louise Hay, Deepak Chopra, Oprah, all of them, they offer you openings. With Rebecca Campbell, yes, you can get to know more about yourself. The one thing that none of them say to you is this is not like reading a book. There is nothing that you can do that becomes a tick box when it comes to doing the inner work and understanding yourself. So for any mothers out there who are going through a pregnancy, have recently been through a birth, it is imperative that you give yourself time to recover from that experience. It is not the time to be rushing around doing everything outside of yourself and baby. Postnatal depression is a very serious matter, and it is something for the sake of your soul that needs to be addressed. And for everyone else wanting to go on a journey of understanding yourself, then I'm going to say to you, you need to be prepared to fit in with yourself. Fitting in with yourself, not fitting in with everybody else. And that means that you've got to be comfortable with yourself, and you've got to be able to stand in your own shining light, not be in the shadow of someone else, not be even goaded by someone else to be, feel, say the way someone else perceives you. Somebody wrote to me the other day after a controversial chat. It's controversial for others, it's truth for me, and said, a lot of people know you, Gwenda. And I was going to write back and say, no, they don't. They know the perception of me that they have created of me. They don't know me unless they have spent a lot of time with me, lived beside me, or walked with me. So to say that we know anything and we know someone, not true. Not true. And remember, when we claim we know something, we have boxed ourselves. So the afterlife, when you want to know a little bit more about the afterlife, or if you would like to, please join me on Wednesday, the 6th of September, to hear Penny Whitbrott's experience of her near-death experience. It is phenomenal. It's a wonderful story to hear, and I'm delighted to be interviewing her from the States. And that will be 9 a.m. Perth time on Wednesday, the 6th. Yes, most people, Leanne, not some. Very true. And where we talk afterlife. So for me, having had many experiences with those in the afterlife and my own experience on the operating table, it is phenomenal. And between birth and death, what kind of experience are you going to have? It's 9 a.m. Hello, Sharon Orr. Yes, it's 9 a.m. on the 6th of September. 9 a.m. Perth time, so that's 11 a.m. for our eastern seaboarders. And I think it's the opposite end of things for Penny. It will be 9 p.m. in the area of the states that she is in. So really looking forward to that interview with her. And anything that is clogging your life up, pain clogs your life up. So if there is anything that is painful, and it's not always a physical pain like something that you can say is in the body, it can be a mind pain or an emotional pain. Do yourself a favor and give yourself the time to explore what that is, so that you can expand from that rather than be limited and blocked up. Use it as an opportunity to know more about who you really are. So life, death, the afterlife, and everything in between. With the afterlife, there are all different levels of the afterlife, just like there is in life itself. But be in no hurry to get there. I'd like to see you're all still hanging out with me for a while longer yet. So thank you for coming in today. It's been an absolute delight, a thrill to see you all. And for those of you who join me on Monday evenings, thank you very much. If you don't know about it and you're on my Facebook page, then it is the Soul and Beyond presentation on a Monday evening. And that's always fun. We never know who's going to show up for that. What's Leanne got here? A lot of emotional pain stores in the body. The body leaves so many clues to what is going on. The body speaks to us all the time. My next book, I'm not going to tell you the name of it because everybody have a wonderful afternoon. I'm going off to do a divine light healing session for a young man who is struggling at the moment. And I look forward to being back with you all again very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.